Finish each day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities, no doubt, have crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. You shall begin it serenely and with too high a spirit to be encumbered with your old nonsense. And that's Ralph Waldo Emerson. So in a way, I think, my grandma used to sort of talk about, just keep moving forward. And I know also Venerable Robina talks about that is just keep moving forward, one step in front of the other, one step in front of the other, one step in front of the other. So, while we do think about this issue of regret in this practice, it's not an invitation to sit there and mull over all the things you've done wrong throughout your life and start feeling guilty about it. So it's sort of just a way to help us heal and to develop an awareness so that we can move forward with a new way of thinking. And I hope that makes some kind of sense. But anyway, all right, everybody, let's just settle. And we're doing our little practice at the end of the day, and then we'll go to sleep and we'll wake up, refreshed and purified. And don't think that this practice isn't working on you in your sleep, because these mantras are, they're quite powerful. So never underestimate the power of the Dharma, this practice, and these mantras. So let's just get settled into a nice, comfortable seated posture. Align your spine, shoulders aligned with the hips. Become aware of the sounds in your environment, trying not to run off and investigate with the mind. And just be aware of the thoughts that are arising. And just have this attitude of it's awareness, but it's also this attitude of curiosity and objectivity and observation. And with that comes, in a way, as the poem talked, serenity, because you are not involved in your own drama while you're taking a step back. You're just seeing what's there. And then bring to mind all the people of our life, our loved ones, the ones we worry about when they're not well, strangers, and then all of those people in our life we don't like so much. Or maybe for some of you, there's only maybe one person in your life that you struggle with. But guaranteed, due to karma, more will pop up. Anyway, these relationships are interchangeable. Regardless of how you feel about any one particular person at any one particular time. They're all equal in their wish to be happy, their wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for an enlightened mind. So we think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. And, think of your own particular situation. If there's something going on for you right now that's difficult, or if you have a friend or something, loved one, family member who needs some kind of thought or some good energy, you can think about them, can motivate for them. And this Judith from this center just popped into my mind. So she's now in her new memory care facility. So that's a big adjustment for her. So I think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logical karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. So having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we ourselves might experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to this power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we need the Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And Vajrasattva is made of this beautiful, brilliant, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face and these long eyes shaped like almonds or lotus petals. And they're very peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and then all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened by this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva. May I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you, and we have compassion for them because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to this power of remedies. So this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hompe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hompe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs. Imagine all this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And next it comes the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you imagine you walk into a room and it's dark and you just reach out and you flick on the switch and immediately the light dispels the darkness. So it's the same here. The light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra and all the darkness of the negativity of your mind. So all your attachments, neediness, bitterness, grudges, jealousy, anxiety, depression, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Vajrita me boa Sutukaya me boa Sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa Sawasiti me piyatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Vajrita me boa Sutukaya me boa Sipokaya me boa Anurakta me boa Sawasiti me piyatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Vajrita me boa Situkaya me boa Sipokaya me boa Anurakta me boa Sawasiti me piyatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Vajrita me boa Situkaya me boa Sipokaya me boa Anurakta me boa Sawasiti me piyatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Vajrita me boa Situkaya me boa Sipokaya me boa Anurakta me boa Sawasiti me piyatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Vajrita me boa Situkaya me boa Sipokaya me boa Anurakta me boa Sawasiti me piyatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Vajrita me boa Situkaya me boa Sipokaya me boa Anurakta me boa Sawasiti me piyatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified and they're finished. And think now that there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is this purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time, imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Vajrita me boa Situkaya me boa Sipokaya me boa Anurakta me boa Sawasiti me piyatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Vajrita me boa Situkaya me boa Sipokaya me boa Anurakta me boa Sawasiti me piyatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Vajrita me boa Situkaya me boa Sipokaya me boa Anurakta me boa Sawasiti me piyatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahumpe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita. Jada meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawatata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahumpe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dina patita, Jada meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe. So now feel you are completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to this power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's a really crucial one. This is a decision, this determination we make to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. And without making a decision to do something, nothing's going to happen. And then the same old things will happen over and over again. So this determination, this aspiration to not harm, it becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So think of, first of all, just rejoicing in your incredible effort in turning up tonight. And then think of something maybe you've been working on and you would like to work on. Maybe it's a speech thing. Maybe it's a habit you have. Maybe it's sort of internal dialogue that you engage in. But it's something that doesn't particularly serve you, or, maybe it's harmful to you. You likely know what it is. And just think that, okay, over the weekend, I'm going to work on this thing. And set yourself an easy, reasonable timeline. And think carefully about, what it is you'd like to refrain from. And this determination sort of to refrain from doing things that are harmful gives us strength to change. And imagine Vajrasattva's delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. And in emptiness, he would say, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created by doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And let's just do our 3 verses. Upholding great observances, head shaven, the foremost of observances, chaste student, with great austerities, perfected fully, he is the greatest bather, Gautama. A Brahmin, Brahma, knower of Brahman, arrived in full at Brahman Nirvana, awakening its branches, liberation, release, complete tranquility, quiescence. One more verse. Nirvana, peacefulness, tranquility, approaching graceful entry to Nirvana, the culmination ending pain and pleasure, the state devoid of passion, free from substrates. Okay, everybody. So let's just dedicate the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, for the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and then, of course, for all of your own teachers. And then maybe spare a thought for everyone down in Florida. I think it's quite wet down there. Some people had to move all their furniture out of their houses. It just looks very, very difficult and uncomfortable. And some people have already lost their lives. So this is the result of global warming. All right, everybody. Go to bed, sleep well, wake up. It's a new day tomorrow.